Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a video on daily topic-wise news analysis where I'll be covering the news from Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news will be discussed in this session, and additionally I'll be supplementing the content with some add-on information that can help in prelims and mains examination. So let's get started with the topic first. Today is 14th of May. The first topic is new guideline for overseas citizenship of India scheme. We'll see what are the changes that government have proposed and the people, the stakeholder have raised concern regarding that only. Second, last mile funding scheme for the real estate, which was recently being announced by the finance ministry. Third, Supreme Court launched app to view proceeding for journalists and many people who are concerned with the judiciary. Second last topic, remittances report 2020 with the World Bank. We'll see how India is ranked and other countries ranking in terms of the remittances. And the last is reforming medical education in India. So what kind of medical education reform is required in country? This is an editorial reported in the Hindu. We'll discuss that in detail. Apart from this, there would be some MCQs question based on current affair that is very relevant for your prelims examination, although the examination has been postponed till 10th of October, but make sure you practice a lot more question so that it can help you in the real examination. And those of you who are new to our channel, do subscribe to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. And if you like this video, do not forget to give a thumbs up. Now starting with the first news article, that is last mile funding scheme for the real estate. The news has been reported in Indian Express. And we'll see what is last mile funding scheme, specifically dedicated to the real estate sectors and how it can catalyze the real estate performances as well. So definitely important for your general studies paper 3. Indian economy is an issue related to planning mobilization of resources. And at the same time, last mile funding can again be very significant for your prelims examination. तो prelims point of view से भी आप इसके जो basic concepts हैं उनको समझिए. So what has actually happened? The Ministry of Finance has recently announced the funding scheme to push the stranded housing project. जितने भी housing projects रुके हुए हैं उसको जल्दी से खत्म करने के लिए, जल्दी से पूरा करने के लिए मिनिस्ट्री ने ये स्कीम लाने की कोशिश की है, लाई है. Now the scheme came after the completion of the first project funded through the special window for affordable and mid इनकम हाउसिंग. जो स्वामी स्कीम है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की, उसमें मिडिल इनकम के जो लोग हैं जो अफोर्डेबल हाउस अफोर्ड कर पाए उन लोगों के लिए स्कीम लाई गई थी. उसमें बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट ऐसे थे जो रुके हुए थे. सो टू गिव देम अ पुश, टू गिव देम अ लिक्विडिटी, द गवर्नमेंट हैज कम अप विद अ स्कीम. नाउ एज पर द मिनिस्ट्री, द लास्ट माइल जो फंडिंग है, दैट स्कीम इज गिवन टू द stress project under the special window affordable and mid income housing. This is under the Swami scheme. We'll see what is Swami scheme and how this is going to help. What is the actual purpose of the scheme? We'll understand that on the later part of the video. Now, in 2019 only what has happened, due to severe liquidity crunch, the real estate sector was stressed on the verge of the collapse. तो पैसे कम होने की वजह से ये सेक्टर बहुत ज़्यादा परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी नहीं कर पाए and even it was on the corner to collapse, right? So definitely this is something which government has taken a note, and to revive this sector, to revive this stranded project of the housing, government has come up with this scheme, right? So definitely the last mile scheme is going to help. Now what is special window and affordable mid housing scheme? जो स्वामी स्कीम है वो क्या है? Actually this was being launched in 2019 जहाँ पे यूनियन कैबिनेट ने इसको, इस प्रपोजल को क्लियर किया था. And the main aim was a investment fund to be formed to complete the construction of the state project, जो कि रेरा authorized project है. RERA is again one of the important concept. If you don't know, make sure you go into the background. RERA एक basically जितने भी real estate constructions होंगे that has to be registered with RERA. This is Real Estate Regulatory Authority. तो RERA से register होना mandatory है. And एवं जितने भी अफोर्डेबल एंड मिडिल इनकम कैटेगरीज के हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट है, दैट डेफिनेटली लैक द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ फंड. उनके पास पैसे की कमी थी, बिकॉज ऑफ विच द प्रोजेक्ट वाज स्टैंडिंग, राइट. Now the fund was set up under the category 2 AIF, Alternate Investment Fund. मैंने आपको इसके बारे में काफ़ी बारी बताया हुआ है. Even if you have watched our PRS series or PIB series, I have discussed that. So this would be the debt fund that would be registered with SEBI, जो हमारी सिक्योरिटी एंड एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया है, उनके साथ इनको रजिस्टर्ड करना होगा. नाउ द इन्वेस्टमेंट मैनेजर की अगर बात करिए, जो फंड क्रिएट की गई थी, उसकी पूरी फंड मैनेजमेंट SBI कैप वेंचर जो है वो कर रही थी. दिस इज होली ओन्ड सब्सिडरी ऑफ SBI कैपिटल ऑफ द स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, राइट. तो पेरेंट कंपनी जो है ये इसकी SBI है. So these organization is important because this might be asked in examination of civil services and any other competitive examination. Now sponsor of the fund, अगर बात करें कौन स्पॉन्सर होंगे इस फंड के, this is important for your exam. This would be sponsored by the Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, by the Government of India on behalf of Government of India, right? So this is how the thing is going to work about the special window for affordable and mid-income housing scheme. नाउ लास्ट माइल फंडिंग स्कीम जो रिसेंटली अनाउंस की गई है, उसके क्या क्या इंपॉर्टेंट एडवांटेजेस होंगे. सो द स्कीम प्राइमरली फोकस ऑन रिलीविंग द सफरिंग ऑफ द मिडिल क्लास who invest who invest actually in buying their home, right? So many people have invested, they have some security deposit, even some of them have deposited more than 60% of their amount to get the home, but because of the non-completion of the home, they have actually not get it, right? So the fund is targeted to complete the aggregated 1,16,600 home, which is still in incomplete phase, and by this fund definitely the government is looking forward to complete it at the earliest. Now under the scheme the apartment has been capped. यहाँ पे कैपिंग रखी गई है कि किसी भी अपार्टमेंट की जो प्राइस है इससे ऊपर नहीं जाएगी. For Mumbai, 2 crore is a price that has been set for an apartment, and I think 2 crore is there. You can expect a 3 BHK and even a 2 BHK, not less than that. This would be something that the government is looking for with this price, because this is not a small price. Even affording a crore rupees for a house in this time is a tougher. 1.5 crore for National Capital Region. NCR called for Delhi, which include Gurgaon and Noida. So other for 5 cities there are 1 crore rupees, right? So this is how for rest of the country is 1 crore. कुछ और important cities के लिए 1.5 crores and 2 crore for Mumbai. We know that the real estate prices are very high in Mumbai. So this is the last mile funding scheme and how this would help. Now the significance of this scheme, how this would bridge a gap, and what are the other advantages of the scheme. So this fund will bridge the trust deficit between the home buyer and the developer by completing the construction. तो जो भी एक deficit create हुई है consumer के मन में कि whether the price they have paid or whether the security that they have deposited, whether they would be getting it back, whether the home would be actually being completed. जो trust deficit है उसको कम करने में काफ़ी हद तक मदद मिलेगी, and without depending upon any other sources of finances, right? And the government would effort to serve and sustained stimulus देने की काम करेगी, जहाँ पे जितने भी रुके हुए प्रोजेक्ट हैं, जितने भी स्ट्रैंडेड प्रोजेक्ट हैं, उनको कंप्लीट किया जाएगा. Now, this effort would also drive demand on the core sector as well as including the cement and steel. तो जो सीमेंट और स्टील की जो डिमांड है वो भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंक्रीज होगी, because none less than 1,16,600 house has to be built. So this was all about the significance of the last mile funding scheme. Now coming to the other news, new guideline for overseas citizen of India scheme, important for your general studies paper 2, government policies and intervention and development in the various sectors. और OCI की जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो हमेशा से ही आपके पॉलिटी सेक्शन के लिए फॉर द प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन इज अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So what has happened? The OCI की जो कार्ड होल्डर हैं, they have raised concern over the Union Home Affairs Ministry एक जो उन्होंने नोटिस इशू किया है regarding the overseas citizen of India, which was actually issued on March 4, 2021, right? So what is this new guideline? Why the concern has been raised? So the new guideline gave legal weight to November 2019 guideline, जहाँ पे ये यूज की गई थी. गाइडलाइन ये कहा कि it used regarding the beneficiary enjoyed by the OCI card holder, right? तो क्या क्या चीजें ये OCI के कार्ड होल्डर एंजॉय कर पाएंगे, what are the restriction, the complete guideline was provided in this, right? So because of it the concern has been raised, and they have some stipulation that this curtails the right that is being enjoyed by the OCI card holders, right? Now the new guideline was issued under the authority of subsection 1 section 7b of the Citizenship Act 1955. नाउ इक्वल ट्रीटमेंट की बात की गई है, जो नए चेंजेस आए, सो द न्यू नोटिफिकेशन ऑल्सो इंश्योर कि जो OCI कार्ड होल्डर्स हैं दे आर ट्रीटेड इक्वली विद इंडियन पीपल व्हेन इट्स कम टू डोमेस्टिक एयर फेयर एंड एंट्री फॉर विजिटिंग नेशनल पार्क्स, वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, नेशनल मॉन्यूमेंट्स, इवन यू गो टू एनी यूनेस्को साइट्स अगर आप जाते हैं, या इवन आप ASI के साइट्स पे जाते हैं, आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया जो मेंटेन करती है, वहाँ पे प्राइस वेरी करती है बिटवीन इंडियन नेशनल एंड द फॉरेन नेशनल, राइट। सो वहाँ पे जो प्राइस की पैरिटी है वो होगी। हिस्टोरिकल साइट्स में एंड इवन द म्यूजियम इन इंडिया, द एंट्री फी फॉर विजिटिंग फॉर द OCI कार्ड होल्डर वुड बी सेम कंपेयर टू द इंडियन। Now, who are overseas citizen of India? I'm just getting into the basics, and I hope that many of you know this, but those of you who are not aware, so just see who are the overseas citizen of India. I'm just giving you a brief. If you want, you can refer to the Indian Polity by Lakshmikant. So OCI card holder are the international passport holder of Indian ancestor, but are not Indian resident. There are some other timing which has been provided कि कौन से कहाँ के लोग होने चाहिए, उन categories of लोगों को ही OCI में रखा जाता है. And there are few group of Indian people who are entitled to hold the OCI card holders. But इसमें exceptions हैं, with exceptions to those who live in Pakistan or Bangladesh, right? So this is not all detail about OCI. If you want to read, do refer to the Lakshmikant book, right? Now, constitutional provisions क्या हैं regarding the OCI people? So the Constitution of India deal with Article 5 to Article 11 under Part 2, which contains that neither any permanent or nor any elaborate provision with this regard, right? So कोई detailed provisions इसके बारे में नहीं है, तो Ministry of Home Affairs इसको regulate करती है. It also identifies that the person who become the citizen of India on 26 January 1950, when the constitution was actually being commenced, or even it was being adopted, from this point of time, they identify the people and it empower the parliament to enact a law. पार्लियामेंट के पास पावर है कि वो सिटीजनशिप से रिगार्डिंग जो भी लॉ है उसको इनैक्ट करे, और अकॉर्डिंगली पार्लियामेंट ये भी कर सकती है कि जो अमेंडमेंट करनी है 1955 में, वो अमेंडमेंट रिसेंटली 2015 में भी पार्लियामेंट ने किया है. सो फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन और जो स्टैटिक क्वेश्चन है आपके पॉलिटी के, वहाँ से क्वेश्चन पूछे जा सकते हैं, राइट. Now benefits under India's OCI program, जो recently program changes लाई गई हैं उसमें क्या क्या benefits होंगे. So the government of India OCI program which has been effective since 2005 बहुत सारे important benefits देती है. जैसे अगर आप बात करें exemptions हैं foreign regional registration office के लिए, जो FRRO registration बार बार उनको करानी होती है, उसमें से उनको exemptions हैं. It also give them access to many same opportunities that NRI and the people enjoy, right? So बहुत सारे ऐसे अपॉर्चुनिटी जो NRI को मिलते हैं वो भी OCI कार्ड होल्डर को इंडिया में मिलते हैं. And OCI is a type of visa which allow you to live and work in India for rest of your life. तो अगर कोई OCI कार्ड होल्डर है तो वो पूरे अपने जीवन के काल तक, even their entire life, he can work in country, he can live in country. Now the OCI card holder do not need to register with the local FRRO, उनको लोकल FRRO के साथ रजिस्टर नहीं करना होता, unlike tourist which have a long term visa such as work permit and student visas. So these are some of the benefits that an OCI enjoy. Do refer to the book if you want to have any other clarity that is required. If you have any other confusion, you can write to us in the comment section down below. Now coming to the changes as per the new rules, जो नई rules हैं उसमें क्या क्या चीजें हैं. So the an OCI card holder would require special permission to perform research as a result of the latest notice, जो नई notice आई है जिसकी वजह से concern raise की गई है, and because of which the news has been reported. So these are some of the requirement because the concern that has been raised. Permission चाहिए for necessary missionary और तबलीगी एक्टिविटीज़, माउंटेनिंग, जर्नलिज्म जो एक्टिविटीज़ हैं उनके लिए, इवन जो इंटर्नशिप लोग कर रहे हैं डिप्लोमेटिक मिशन में, द फॉरेन गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन इंडिया जो वहाँ पे जॉब करेंगे, इवन द डिप्लोमैट इन द मिशन, दे वुड बी रिक्वायरिंग परमिशन फ्रॉम द MHA, दैट इज मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स, राइट. Now, prior permission would also be necessary if an OCI card holder wish to travel in any location within India, designated and protected area में अगर वो जाते हैं, जैसे इनर लाइन परमिट है या कोई भी नेशनल पार्क्स है जहाँ पे उनको जाना हो, तो दे नीड द competent authority से उनको परमिशन चाहिए होगी, या इवन द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कैन प्रोवाइड देम द परमिशन. And the new notification also make OCI card holder eligible to take all India entrance test, जैसे कि जो नीट के एग्जाम्स हैं for medical courses, national eligibility test, national eligibility entrance test, and even JEE जो मेंस की एग्जाम होती है, joint entrance exam for IITs, they are eligible to appear in this examination, right? So this is the changes that were proposed by the government of India. Now, Supreme Court has launched an app to view the proceedings by Justice N.V. Ramana. He is a new Chief Justice of India, and I personally feel that this man is going to revolutionize the judiciary system. I find a potential Chief Justice of India after a very long time. So important for your General Studies paper 2, structure, organization, and functions of judiciary. So recently, the Supreme Court has launched a facility of a mobile app for providing links to virtual hearing. जितने भी virtual hearings होते हैं actual Supreme Court में, उसकी access दी जाएगी media persons को, even journalists, right? And this would be also accessible to the other people, the stakeholder concerning the judiciary. So जो नए CGI हैं डॉक्टर रमना, I mean CV, जो his name is NV Ramana, Justice Ramana said that the new feature on the Supreme Court official website is aimed to provide the concise summaries. जितने भी concise summaries होंगे landmark judgments के, वो भी websites में easy to understand format में available होंगे, right? And the CGI said that actively considering the proposal to telecast live, ये भी प्रपोजल है कि जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की प्रोसीडिंग है, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोसीडिंग्स हैं, उनको लाइव भी टेलीकास्ट किया जा सकता है. सो दिस इज अगेन, यहाँ पे कंसल्टेशन की जरूरत है. ही नीड टू कंसल्ट द कलीग्स, कलीग फ्रॉम सुप्रीम कोर्ट, दैट व्हाट एक्चुअली नीड टू बी डन. बाय कलीग आई मीन जितने भी और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजेस हैं, उनसे कंसल्ट करने के बाद ये चीज़ें लाइव करने की फाइनल अप्रूवल मिलेगी. Now, promoting transparency, definitely when things are becoming more oriented to people, more service oriented, the things become more transparent. तो CGI का कहना है कि इस तरह की जो चीज़ें हैं वो ट्रांसपेरेंसी को प्रमोट करेगी, टाइम बाउंड प्रिंसिपल देगी जुडिशरी को, ताकि वो एक टाइम बाउंड मैनर में काम कर सके. एंड हियरिंग ऑफ द केसेस हैज ऑलवेज टेकन प्लेस इन पब्लिक कोर्ट रूम with access to allowing not only for lawyer but litigants भी जो है, even general public can have an idea what actually is going. Right? And the CGI said that the public access to court hearing was important as the ruling of the court has an impact on the lives of the people across the country. कई ऐसी जजमेंट्स होती है जो हर एक किसी ना किसी इंडिविजुअल को इम्पैक्ट करती है. राइट टू प्राइवेसी की बात करें, सो एक ऐसी जजमेंट है जो हर एक इंडिविजुअल के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है. ईच एंड एवरी इंडिविजुअल ऑफ हिस कंट्री who is above 18 or below 18, definitely right to privacy is equally important for everyone. तो कुछ ऐसे जजमेंट्स होते हैं जो सभी लोगों को जानने की जरूरी हो, right? So this is definitely going to promote transparency in the judiciary sectors. Now, reforming medical education in India, a very good editorial talking about how a reform can be incorporated and what are the things that is required in the medical educations, right? So important for your General Studies paper 2, government policies and intervention for the development in various sectors. So जिस तरह से पेंडेमिक इंडिया में सेकेंड वेव कंटिन्यूड है, it has highlighted जो स्टेटस इंडिया में हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम की, it has been confronting the numerous challenge. We have been witnessing the actual level of healthcare system in the country. So in order to make it more effective, ये ज़रूरी है कि जो अभी challenges हैं हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम में उसको एड्रेस किया जाए. एंड नॉट टू एड्रेस, वी हैव टू स्ट्रेंथन आवर ओवरऑल हेल्थ केयर सिस्टम, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, मैन पावर, एवरीथिंग, राइट? From bottom to top we need to work. We need to have a bottom up approach. Now, one of the most critical building blocks of the health is our human resources, the nurses, the doctors, the manpower, the people working for the hospital, the lab technicians, the laboratories, everything are included under human resources. So we need to work holistically, sustainably, so that we can contain any future pandemic if it existed in India. We possibly want that. India don't want to have any pandemic after the COVID. Now, workforce crisis की अगर बात करें, this COVID-19 crisis have shown us a serious shortage of the healthcare worker, which we have witnessed across country, especially doctors की अगर बात करें, कुछ northern states में बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स हुए, and even these are not fulfilling the requirement of the sustainable development goal, जहाँ पे ये कही गई है कि जो health की related problems हैं उनको पूरा करने की ज़रूरत है. But India is definitely far lacking behind. Workforce crisis की अगर बात करें, they have been aggravated by imbalances within the country. And अगर डॉक्टर पॉपुलेशन रेशियो की बात करें, in the northern state that is very short. अगर आप साउदर्न के स्टेट्स में देखेंगे, इवन स्टेट लाइक केरला, तमिलनाडु, दे गुड combination of doctors. Even in Telangana, the number of doctor proportion to the population is good. तो इन कुछ states में, southern state में proportion अच्छी है compared to any other region, north, east and west. So there is also a general lack of adequate staffing in the rural areas. So rural area में तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा problem है. Even the second wave of COVID-19 has a devastating effect in the rural areas. Now, नीति आयोग की कुछ proposals हैं, and that proposal is not very practical, not very feasible. We'll see what नीति आयोग has actually proposed. So, नीति आयोग ने कहा है कि private entities जो हैं, they need to take over the district hospital for converting them into the teaching hospital, right? With at least 150 MBBS seat. तो जितने भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट हॉस्पिटल उनको प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल ओवरटेक करें, वहाँ पे हॉस्पिटल्स बनाएं और बच्चों को MBBS की डिग्री दें, राइट? बट दिस हैज़ एन अनदर रिपरकशन इन आवर सोसाइटी. हाउ? अगर इस तरह से चीज़ें कंटिन्यू होती, अगर इस पॉलिसी को इम्प्लीमेंट की जाती है, तो प्राइवेट सेक्टर जो मेडिकल एजुकेशन है, डेफिनेटली उसको प्रमोट तो किया जाएगा, बट उसके जो प्रॉब्लम्स है वो बहुत सारे अदर कंसर्न है. जैसे जो प्रपोजल है that said that it attempts to privatize the healthcare sector. Why can't government build a medical institution? Why we are asking the private people to come into the play? Because जब private players आएंगे तो वो बेसिकली जितने भी यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ या इक्विटी की अगर बात करें, इवन इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द फीस, दैट वुड बी प्रिटी हाई, and the person who is paying for this fee, they will definitely look forward to work for the corporate sector rather for working in the rural India, right? तो इस तरह के जो चीज़ें हैं वो हमारे नेशनल हेल्थ पॉलिसी के जो गोल्स हैं यूनिवर्सल हेल्थ केयर को अचीव करने में उतनी मदद नहीं करेगी. बिकॉज दोज हु आर इन्वेस्टिंग 25 लाख रुपीज़ और एनी अदर, दे वुड डेफिनेटली सी टू फर्स्ट अचीव दिस अमाउंट, राइट? जो उन्होंने पैसे खर्च किए हैं वो पहले वो पैसे को वापस लें, फिर आगे वो काम करें, right? So this is definitely not going to help in the longer run, and instead it will widen the inequalities further, right? और कई ऐसे लोग होंगे जो टैलेंटेड बच्चे होंगे जिनके पास पैसे नहीं है प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन में पढ़ने के, वो पोटेंशियल कैंडिडेट बाहर रह जाएंगे, राइट? सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द रिपरकशंस ऑफ नीति आयोग प्रपोजल्स. नाउ क्या क्या फॉल्ट्स हैं, मैं आपको डिटेल में इस फॉल्ट के बारे में थोड़ा यहाँ पे बता दूँ. सो इफ दिस प्रपोजल इज इम्प्लीमेंटेड, कहीं ना कहीं कॉर्पोरेटलाइजेशन होगी हॉस्पिटल की, राइट? बिकॉज इट विल बी डेफिनेटली वेरी कॉस्टली. प्राइवेट प्लेयर जो है वो मेडिकल एजुकेशन है उसको एक बिजनेस की तरह ट्रीट करेंगे, एंड इवन लार्जर एस्पिरेंट्स जो हैं उनके पास स्ट्रॉन्ग मोटिवेशन नहीं होगा टू वर्क इन रूरल इंडिया, बिकॉज मैंने आपको बताया जो फाइनेंसेस वो स्पेंड करेंगे उनको वो पहले रिकवर करने की कोशिश करेंगे, राइट? एंड डेफिनेटली दिस सिस्टम चैलेंजेस विल रिमेन लार्जली अनएड्रेस्ड. इससे हम जो प्रॉब्लम है वो कंटिन्यू होगी, एंड इवन जो मार्केट ओरिएंटेड अप्रोच है फॉर मेडिकल एजुकेशन वुड नॉट बी प्रमोटेड. So definitely government need to plan something. They need to build own government institution, and the medical cost of the particular courses of the MBBS should be cut down so that many other people can join it. The prices are so high in India that many people cannot afford it, right? Now way forward, definitely ये pandemic की जो time है ये हमारे पास opportunity है. Even this time we can learn a lot of lesson to have a good medical education and even make it more robust for the country. And there should be a substantial setup in the पब्लिक इन्वेस्टमेंट. जैसे कि CSR की बात की गई थी, मैंने आपको पहले भी डिस्कस किया कि जितने भी प्राइवेट हाउसेस हैं उनको CSR को बोला जाएगा कि आप आने वाले 3 साल तक सिर्फ और सिर्फ हेल्थ केयर सेक्टर पे ही पैसे लगाएंगे इन CSR फंडिंग. दैट वुड बी ओनली कंसिडर एज अ कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, राइट? एंड बाय एस्टैब्लिशिंग अ न्यू कॉलेजेस गवर्नमेंट कैन इंक्रीज द स्टूडेंट इनटेक, जिसकी वजह से जो एक इक्विटेबल मेडिकल एजुकेशन है वो भी प्रमोट होगी. एंड गवर्नमेंट मस्ट एलोकेट adequate financial resources to strengthen the capacity. जो मेडिकल कॉलेजेस हैं वहाँ पे स्टूडेंट की जो लर्निंग आउटपुट है उसको भी इम्प्रूव करने की ज़रूरत है. एंड मेडिकल एजुकेशन इज़ अ पब्लिक गुड and its purpose to improve the population by decreasing the burden. And even the student who are in 4th year or in the final year of their degree, they can join hospital for their internship and they can contribute to the nation building, right? So definitely government need to strategize the thing and they need to come up with a plan which is sustainable and holistic for the healthcare sector of the country. Now the other news, that is remittances report 2020 by World Bank. We'll see what are the remittances report is and how much India has actually received. Important for General Studies Paper 3, Inclusive Growth and Issues Arising from It. So the World Bank has recently released a report called Remittances Report 2020. और रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक इंडिया हैज़ रिसीव्ड $83 बिलियन ऑफ रेमिटेंसेज इन 2020 और ये जो ड्रॉप है वो जस्ट 0.2% की ड्रॉप देखी गई है पिछले साल के मुकाबले. सो आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2019. सो इन 2019 इंडिया हैज़ रिसीव्ड $83.3 बिलियन. यू कैन सी this time $83, previously $83.3. The $0.3 की बिलियन डॉलर से परसेंटेज कम है और जिसको परसेंटेज में आप निकालोगे तो 0.2% के आसपास कमी देखी गई है. सो ग्लोबल रेमिटेंसेस की अगर प्रोजेक्शंस देखें, दिस हैज शार्पली डिक्लाइन. बहुत ज़्यादा गिरावट आई है, बहुत सारे कंट्रीज में 20% तक की गिरावट देखी गई है ड्यू टू इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस that is there in the pandemic, right? And the one reason that why people are sending their money, because many people are in the need of money in India. Many people who are actually residing in other countries, they know that their family in India require money. तो उस वजह से भी जो फ्लो है वो बढ़ी है. आप ऐसा मत समझना कि इनकम जनरेशन बढ़ी है, but the need, the requirement has increased, right? So the World Bank Group President has said that remittances are a vital source of income in the developing countries like India as well. Now, remittances होती क्या हैं? I understand this is a very basic concept. Many of you must be aware of this. But just to get you an idea that what actually remittances is. So remittances is the money that is sent to another party, usually from other countries. I will show you a graph. एक मैं image भी आपको दिखाऊंगा जहाँ पे चीज़ें clear होगी. Now the sender is typically an immigrants or the recipient back home. Remittances का मतलब होता है it represent one of the largest sources of income from the people of low income in the developing nation. और ये जो amount है it exceeds the amount of the direct investment in the official development assistance, right? उसके अलावा it is the world biggest recipient of remittances. India world की सबसे biggest country है जहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा remittances मिलते हैं. Remittances booster India's foreign exchange reserve, जो हमारी FER है उसको बेसिकली बूस्ट करने में मदद करती है. And it help the reduce the current account deficit also. Now we'll understand that how actually the percentage was there in 2019. What was the percentage? So India, as I told you, 81.3. This is reported by World Bank, and 83.1 ही आप calculate कर सकते हैं. A minute difference. Pakistan 22.5, Bangladesh 18.3, and these are shown for the Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Afghanistan, right? And this is a country-wise migration that we can see. You can see the most migration has been seen in Kerala, followed by Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, right? So you can pause this video, you can take a screenshot to read it further. Now, what is remittances, right? Remit का मतलब होता है पैसे ट्रांसफर करना from one country to another country. So suppose a beneficiary is there and a remitter who is in other countries. Suppose he is in UK, right? Or even he is in Middle East. आप Middle East में किसी भी country का ले सकते हैं. चाहे आप UAE का example ले सकते हो. UAE में मान लो कोई individual है, उसने request की to remit the amount. उसने बैंक को remit करने के लिए कहा. Now this bank was instructed to transfer this amount. Suppose an ICICI बैंक की beneficiary की account है, तो वहाँ पे ट्रांसफ़र होगी और उसके बाद जो अमाउंट है वो क्रेडिट हो जाएगी. जब रेमिटेंसेस क्लियरेंस होगी तो वो बेनिफिशियरी के अकाउंट पे चली जाती है, राइट? एंड दीज आर द परसेंटेज ऑफ माइग्रेंट्स दैट वी कैन सी दैट वर एक्चुअली वर्किंग इन द कंट्री. सो द लार्जेस्ट शेयर वी कैन सी इज फ्रॉम द सऊदी अरेबिया. सबसे ज़्यादा माइग्रेंट्स सबसे ज़्यादा आप UAE में देख सकते हैं 27.36%, फॉलोड बाय सऊदी अरेबिया. उसके बाद अगर आप दूसरे में थर्ड मिलेंगे तो दिस इज कुवैत, राइट? So these are the percentage of migrants that are actually working, the Indian migrant working in other countries, right? Now, talking about remittances received in the other countries और दूसरे countries में क्या क्या remittances receive हुई है. इंडिया में तो $83 billion है. Other country like China, they have received 59.5 billion as remittances, 68.3 billion compared to the previous year. Mostly China में जो लोग हैं वो बाहर नहीं जाते हैं. They are dependent on their country only, but then also China is on the second number. The country other include Mexico. I'm not quoting the number, you just see the graph. No, आप एक flow समझ लें. Mexico, Egypt, मेक्सिको के बाद फिलीपींस के बाद इजिप्ट, पाकिस्तान, फ्रांस एंड बांग्लादेश. So I have just taken these examples. There are many other countries which you actually don't need to know, right? So these were the remittances received by the other countries. Now moving to the MCQs question of the day. First we'll discuss the answer of the yesterday questions, the correct answer. So for the question 1, the correct answer is B, and for question 2, the correct answer is C. The first question about the Shaw Smart Anti-Airfield Weapon. So is indigenously developed by DRDO Hyderabad in collaboration with IAF, and it is capable of engaging ground enemy airfield, that is asset, bunker, etc. about a range of 100 kilometers. So what you have to do, you have to just mark the correct option in the comment section. Many of you are not actually participating. It takes a lot of effort to make some good question for you. So at least participate, write the answer in the comment sections. Second question, consider the following statement about the Varuna 2021. The 19th edition of India and Navy French bilateral exercise Varuna is being conducted in Arabian Sea. And this is for the first time that United Arab Emirates is participating in the Varuna maritime exercises. Important and easy question. So if you know the correct answer, just let me know in the comment section down below. So this was all about the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the questions also, right? If you have any other concern, you can let us know in the comment section down below. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Wish you all the best. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.